Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
What is going on, true believers? Well, you know something, brother. You guys, I hope you're having a great day. There's a lot going on in the crypto market. Let's break it down. Let's talk about what's going on, where we're going next. And I think that if you're not at this point, you should be incredibly bullish. By the way, for those of you that pay attention and know, you'll see here that I'm wearing like the same shirt that I had like yesterday, and I put the necklace out. I didn't have the necklace out. I put it out afterwards. I thought, you know what? This is just kind of silly to me. It's just absolutely annoying as hell. And for some reason, that makes me say, you know what? People will be annoyed by that. I should do it. So, but also these shirts, just so you guys know, I got a stack of shirts for like $20 off of TikTok. And they were the moisture wicking sort of, workout shirts and stuff like that. So, and I got like a pack of 7, I think, for like $20. It's ridiculous. It was ridiculous. It was before Trump came in with the tariffs and everything. So now, for some reason, it gives me joy to have these shirts. So I'm sharing it with you. So make sure you hit the like button on the way in. Let's kick it off. There's a whole bunch going on in the market, and we're going to lead off with Cake being up 17%. I told you yesterday BNB had not broken out and it had not taken off. We were looking for a big move from it, and we never got it, which very weird. Like, when you see the amount of volume that's currently happening on this, it's just a crazy sort of number. In fact, let's look at it right now. $13.3 billion. That's the volume right now on BSC. Guys, that is wash trading. There is no way that we have $13 billion worth of volume happening on BSC just naturally like that. When you consider that during the bullish phases, or the most bullish phases of everything, we've had between 5 and 6 billion on Solana or Ethereum, right? So now we're looking at 2.3 billion there, 1.6 billion there. We're looking at Arbitrum down to 400 million. We're looking at Hyperliquid up to 506 million. That could cover where some of these plays are coming from. You could start to look at it and you could see, well, it's obviously a shifting dynamic, but BSC with 13 billion is something wrong there. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know why we're looking at it. I don't know why I'm paying attention to it this way, but $13.3 billion in the last 24 hours doesn't make any sense. By the way, when I say that, let's look at it from this context, right? If there's a ton of trade volume on BSC, then chances are we're seeing some kind of crazy run, right? So we're seeing Cake at 16.8% pump, right? But where are the rest of the BNB tokens that we all know and love? Like, Baby Boom, maybe? Maybe we could say Baby Boom. TRB, Teller Tributes. I don't see them, is my point. Like, I don't see some wild BNB token that's absolutely, and by the way, a good run for a token, if it goes to 50 million market cap, it's not $13 billion in trade volume. You know what I mean? So something doesn't make sense with this market right now. You should probably be watching BNB over the next couple of hours, days, weeks, because I think it's going to break out. But also, I'm a little nervous because it seems a little weird, especially considering that, Binance was already sued by the SEC. CZ Binance went to jail. So for them to do shady shit would be untoward and unbecoming the largest exchange. So I don't think that if it is something nefarious, I don't think it's them. I think it's wash trading by a bunch of different actors to make it look like there's a lot more going on there. So, but I don't know for sure. Anyway, the market's cooking at 74 right now on the Fear and Greed Index, which means, guys, this is the time to sell. But I think we're going into the bull run, starting to feel a little different. Like, by the way, it's always kind of felt like we're going into a bull run. We felt that way for probably a year now, maybe a year and a half. We just really haven't seen that magical move, but we've always got that sense and that feeling, right? Well, it seems like to me that we finally reached that spot, because when we talk about where were we back then, and these are just little data points, right? This is the exchange reserves. Look how low exchange reserves are. Exchange reserves are way, way, way down. When we were talking about this through a year and a half ago, it was real high. So price action did not correlate. You know what I mean? So it was not really time. Now that variance right there, it is time. So this is just an example of that bullish effect of bull run probably being on. And when we look at the Bitcoin chart right now, up, by the way, $38 billion on the day. Bitcoin settling at or near the all-time high, getting to the point where that next surge, by the way, I have not had any opportunity to get back into a long position. There is no way. It doesn't make any sense to me to buy the top on Bitcoin right now, especially considering that we've got long positions on a whole bunch of other projects right now that we're just kind of sitting on, waiting for them to pump just a little bit. So it doesn't make any sense for me to enter into $110,000 Bitcoin long. Even if I can see 124, and even if I think 124 is the next move, there's got to be a cooling off period. Like if we just, like we zoom out and we're looking at it on the daily, then if I pulled out an Elliott wave, I mean, like we're beyond the norm on Elliott wave. Like it's just continuing to move and continuing to move and continuing to move. So it makes no sense to me. At best, what I'm looking at is kind of the bottom of this range here. Like what I'd like to see is a retest right about there at about 97, 98,000. I'd feel much better about that. And if we are able to, then I'm going to be entering a position there, but not until we get to 100,000. So just to provide clarity, there is, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I swear to God, I hate these goddamn things. Whew. I get tired of having to log in sometimes. But it's for my security and protection, right? So we've got a long setup at 100,000. We are actually, and by the way, the reason that it annoys the shit out of me right now is because I just did this. Like I just did this. I did this whole thing just a couple of days ago. Like, oh my God. Crosswalks. Okay. Yeah. Let's do crosswalks. That's going to help. And, oh, we need to slowly. All right. So you gotta be fucking kidding me. Those are definitely crosswalks. That is definitely a crosswalk. I don't see a crosswalk there. I don't see a crosswalk there, but maybe. This is sort of ridiculous level shit. And by the way, now you got to put in a code. All right. So I'm going to lose my mind today. I'm going to lose my goddamn mind out of this. All right. So here we are, our open orders right now. So we've got a bunch of triggers set. But we got a Bitcoin long set at 100,000. I've got another one set at 95,000. My Solana still set at 158. Should we be allowed to visit? I don't think that we are. And 226 for XRP. And I want to put more into XRP because XRP is working real slow right now. Like, it is not pumping at all. More close to getting liquidated than I am to getting a pump out of it. Solana, on the other hand, we're up 56% right now. Ondo, we're up in the positive, and we put a lot into Ondo thinking that it's going to start surging again. I do think that it will continue. Also, we are good on Ethereum. We're up 44% on Ethereum. But SWI, as you can see right here, we're down 21%, waiting for another move right there from SWI, which we're getting as we speak, by the way. And OM still, that's my darling right there. That's the one that I think is going to really pop off. And, you know, our margin here is 240. So we are already deep into OM, waiting for a big move, whatever big move might happen. So, yeah, there we are. This is how we're rolling right now. And, you know, ultimately, if you look at it, we're up pretty good right now, except SWI and OM. I don't think there's any danger at this point of an absolute collapse and bottoming of the market. So I think that we're going to be fine with that. But SWI and OM right now, those are the ones that have me a little bit nervous. Again, the XRP was only $25. Not like it's going to do anything. It's not like it's going to make any difference anyway. I'd like to see some big wins here from OM, from SWI, and from Ondo. And of course, again, our Ethereum doing pretty well, our Solana doing pretty well, but I think there's more room to run. So we'll be keeping an eye on them, and we'll see what happens. So next surge right here, 124.096. Bitcoin is getting ready for it. I mean, if you just kind of look at the way that it's been running right now, it looks like, you know, we've got this kind of upward trajectory, right? We're feeling it over and over and over again. It's got to be a significant correction, but there's also got to be a significant move. And I think that the significant move goes up to the top here, 124.096. Once we get there, then I think we'll start to see some stuff breaking down. Now, we had some information that should have been coming out today, and that was going to be durable goods month over month. So let's do durable goods month over month, and let's see what the number came in at. Nope. U.S. durable good order slide 6.3%. That's probably not good. U.S. Census Bureau has released the latest durable goods month-over-month reading, showing a 6.3% drop in April. At the same time, the figure beats the expectation of a 7.8% decline. So that actually is a pretty good acknowledgement right there. HSBC has selected XRP. I don't know what that means, but HSBC XRP. Here we go, right here. Nope, that's 2024. They were HSBC. They did this over a year ago with HSBC Friends. So I don't know if that's old. I don't know if that's new, or I don't know if that's breaking. HSBC XRP. Let's see if we got something breaking here. Nothing that I really see here. HSBC XRP, massive news. All right, so select XRP. That's Moon God Trading. Dude, I don't think so. I don't think that's I don't think so. I think that this is old news that's just being kind of rehashed right now. By the way, the reason I say this is I'm doing the same thing today. I've actually, one of my shorts today is going to be on the $1.4 billion Bybit hack. And, you know, that's already happened a while back. So, but that's something that's being talked about a lot today. And by the way, when I do my shorts, I'm the shorts that I'm doing on the shorts that I'm doing on the market right now are basically based on what Grok says the most trending 2 topics are every single day. I haven't seen it either. I don't see it either. So, but anyway, Blocky, by the way, somebody mentioned Blocky already. So let's get into this before we get into deeper. Blocky went up to an all-time high. This means that we are getting a video by Altcoin Daily, which is a dynamic big move. Now, that puts us at, this is really what I told you guys was this little range right here. This is going to be the top. It's using the top as support right now, which means that Blocky looks like it could go so much higher. When we're looking at it from this context, you know, again, if we just use our Elliott wave, it looks like it needs to cool off because it's had this big move here and this big move here. This is the corrective phase of that move where, you know, in fact, you should see a move here, a retest here, a move down here, a retest here, and a move back down to around this range. So that would be the cooling off little moment that I'm looking for. By the way, I sold the top on Blocky, so congratulations and shout out to me. We made a few $1,000s off of it, and now we're looking at our entry point. So I don't think that's my entry point. I think my entry point is going to be somewhere down in this range. So it might be a day or 2 or 3, or I could miss a gigantic pump on it, but I got to take the cash when the cash is available because I'd like to get more because I only had 1.7 million. So I have to take a shot here. Now is the moment where can I find a way, you know, can I get back into this and can I make a big play on a next big move? So maybe, you know what? Jenna said the same thing, that XLM, I think, is going to have a little bit of a surge. When Jenna starts talking about XLM, that usually means that the surge is coming. So yeah, it's very possible that we see a move on XLM coming very, very soon. So, but anyway, Blocky clocks in all-time high, surges up over 3. That's 0.003 cents. Now you're going to get that video. That video should take it up to a 10 million market cap, about 4x from where it is right now. Now, what I would like to see in the meantime is a bit of a bigger correction again, so that I can re-enter at a better position. My exit, by the way, I probably can't get there. But what time was that yesterday? It was 2 p.m. yesterday. Which is around this 15 hour. This is when it was really starting to soar. Boom, 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 boom. There we are. All right. So when we got that surge yesterday, this is me, by the way. And by the way, remember, I had like $1,300 in it. So we got that buy right there, 5,000, which took it over 29.22. So then I sold for 48.54 yesterday, with my average price at 26.53. That's at the all-time high. That's, you know, that's where that was getting the listing. So I thought that's a great spot right now for the sell. So I sold right there. I'm the reason that candle dipped down right there. And then it went down to about 22.61 as my low. And I didn't think that was enough. I was hoping to see a little bit more move because I had set a buy order right at 202. To get back in, but it never triggered it, so I got rid of the trigger order. Now I'm just kind of waiting to see what happens. I don't want to miss the move, but I already made a good amount off of it, and you know, I'm expecting to see more. I'm holding, by the way, capital on the side because in the event that we're allowed, and I do think because it's a meme coin that will probably be allowed, but in the event that we're allowed to get down into this range right here where there's a lot of trade volume, then I'm going to be able to accumulate a little bit more, or I'll be able to accumulate the same amount cheaper is basically, you know, you can look at it either way that you want. So that's what I'm doing right now in the hopes that we get another massive, massive move. Now, while we're on the subject, let's go ahead and talk about Puff a little bit because, and by the way, they are looking to sell off on Puff at every given opportunity. These you know, these salty little hoes. I don't know what to say other than that. And I think that, you know, they need to be stimulated constantly. That's who they are. It's a testament of their character. It's, you know, I mean, so, but I do think that the next move there is going to be to 2 cents. And by the way, money will float back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But since Blocky is pumping right now, I don't think that people are interested in doing that. So you're seeing this downward momentum while Blocky is having an upward momentum. And I think you'll see the reverse of that. And then again, I think that's when you see a crazy move up here to 2 cents. And then once it gets to 2 cents, I've got a trigger order set. I'll be selling my bag of puff at 2 cents, hoping for a break back down into 1.5 or whatever that range is going to be. So we got our trigger set. And we'll see what happens. By the way, my trigger is set at a profit of, I want to say about 13,000. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that big move. When we get to 2 cents, I'll sell, and then I'll see whether or not I can find a good entry back in. If I can find a good entry back in, we are in. If I can't find a good entry back, I might miss the gigantic move. You know what I mean? And I do think that there's going to be a gigantic move, but also I need to take that profit along the way. You know what I mean? Like I can't get caught holding everybody's bag because too many times you get into these and you end up holding somebody else's bag. So my exit right there leads to a re-entry back down here, hopefully where I double the size of the bag for that next big move. Now, the problem with my strategy is this. It is my estimation that the next move by Puff is going to be a major listing like Upbit or Bybit or Kraken or OKX. Like I think that you're going to start seeing a bunch of different exchanges and you're going to see this organic explosive move on Puff coming up. So I'm just hoping that I get an opportunity to get it at the right time. And look, fingers crossed that we get a big move here. And then I get an opportunity to get back in before we get that crazy, crazy pump, which will take it up to, I want to say 5.5 cents, basically. So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm watching. That's what I'm waiting for. So, what do you think? I mean, that's to me, that seems like a pretty solid strategy here. So I'm going to take a shot here and see what happens. But let's get into the news right now. NASDAQ's filed a 19B4 for 21 shares SWE ETF with the SEC. NASDAQ has officially entered the game. SEC filing has shown that NASDAQ has filed the Form 19B4 to list and trade shares of SWE ETF on its stock exchanges from 21 shares. This officially initiates the review process during which the commission will approve or deny the application. As CoinGate reported earlier, 21 shares has shown its intention to offer this ETF when the asset manager filed the S1 with the SEC earlier this month. Now, that does mean that there's about 6 months to a year before we'll see it happen, but it's nice to see that NASDAQ has stepped into the crypto arena, which, wink, wink, we know that they're in the crypto arena. We just haven't seen the announcement yet, but that they are including the 21 shares SWE ETF on their stock exchange. That is look, this is just, again, this is the process that we've seen over and over again with the ETFs. NASDAQ gets involved, CME gets involved. We start to see futures being traded on Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And then, then we get the approval. And then once we get the approval, boom. So, and should happen by the end of the year. Also, Ethereum price forecast, sell signals are multiplying. Ethereum price showed strength at press time. It was trading at 26.38 and is up 3% due to the recent uptick. The market cap is 318 billion, but on the daily chart's been trading between 23 and 27 with signs of bullish exhaustion. While ETH produced almost equal highs in the past 2 weeks, the momentum indicator like RSI and AO produced lower levels. So, what are we looking at on Ethereum? Well, you can see right here that we are overbought, greatly overbought at this point. It looks like we've had that big move. However, we're getting a mixed signal. Here's the mixed signal. Yeah, you've rejected off of the 200 MA for the third time now, but here is where, let's put it all together. So we're definitely hot right here on the RSI. But the MACD seems to be flipping bullish again for continuation, but we've rejected 3 times off of the 200 MA. So you're getting some mixed signals, and this is bearish, bearish, bearish. This is bearish. This is the only thing that looks bullish, and it's just one minor confirmation right now of an impending move or an impending upside move, potentially. So it looks like we're headed up, but all the indicators are telling us that there might be a correction needed, because in this moment, no new buyers are stepping in at this point. Now, this is not a bearish divergence, by the way, by any means. So I think it's fair to say that, we haven't seen a crazy signal that says that it's over, but that right there kind of makes me nervous. So we'll see whether it plays out. The other thing is, let's zoom out here just a little bit and let's kind of look at it. And you can see right there back in the last 2024, when we had that big surge right there. Problem, we didn't have a continuation, but this was for a longer time. So it would look to me like this could be a continuation for a longer period of time when we break it out and we go back all the way to previous bull markets. And you see, like, you don't run that high for very long. So correction might be in the cards right there. So you didn't hear it from me first, but it looks like there's some corrections due. And that, by the way, leads me to Bitcoin. Some correction is due, which gives me that opportunity at 100,000 for some buyback right there. So Devi, by the way, down another 3%. Now looks like it's probably going to break 50 cents. Like, I don't know. I don't see any strength right here right now. When you look at this, are you bearish or bullish? And you can't be anything more than bearish. First of all, let's, on the 1 day, we're still technically bullish. 200 is still moving up, but the 50 has been really down. Okay. So you're seeing the rollover into bearish momentum. And I think the market is kind of propping it up right now. But because we didn't get this last pump here, we didn't use 58, 60 cents as support. That means that we're now probably going to dump even more. And there's a possibility of a drop to 45 cents and down into it a little bit further, down to 35. So there is some bearish momentum there, and there is starting to be some cracks and frustrations in the chats for Dev E, because it is not doing anything close to what a lot of people felt like it would do. Now, is that true? Look, I thought it was going to be announced in January. So here we are in May. The exchange launches in 30 days, and we don't even have the partnership announcement or anything like that. So, things are kind of dragging their feet for a moment, and that's going to lead to a strong dump. Now, the question is, can I take advantage of that dump in some way? And here's what I mean by that. What I'm hoping for is it just a gigantic move on Puff, where we start to see some real positive price action and some real explosive growth, and that maybe we get up into that 5 cent range. And that would mean that I would be able to then move over a bunch of capital from a win on Puff, which I'm assuming, but a big win on Puff. I can move that money over into and buy way more Dev E. So there you have it. So we'll see what happens. Maddie says Devi is more scam of exchange. Similar. Hey, he spelled similar right. Guys, give Maddie a hand and hit that like button while you're giving him a hand. Terrarium. And yeah, and funny thing is, Terrarium launched an exchange. Never did anything, but they launched an exchange. So really, we're just waiting for a partner over there. And by the way, Maddie's broke. Maddie's still broke because he didn't buy Puff. He didn't buy Blocky. He didn't make a bunch of profit. He didn't make a whole bunch of money. He sat on the sidelines because everything's a scam. You know what I mean? So we're not, by the way. We made out like bandits on these. So let's find some more bandit stuff and continue to build. So anyway, so Devi, and it's mathematically instantaneous settlements, really is a game changer in DeFi. It brings to the table, there's all of that. And then of course, over here, we have finance and sustainability don't have to be at odds. Basically just, boilerplate stuff. So maybe we'll see something, maybe we won't. I don't know at this point. And by the way, blockchain beauties, We've got shit. I guess I should start over again. We've got a lot. We've got Annabelle. We've got Lena. We've got Deviled Megs. We've got Coins Chick, and we've got Lex. So if you're not bullish here, if you're not buying here, you're not gonna make it. I'm just telling you. Look. And by the way, I was hoping for a much bigger pump off of this to begin with, some validation for some of the effort that they are putting through. But of course, the market just kind of doesn't when we want it to. So take a little bit longer, but this is a good opportunity right now for an entry position that will lead to, in my opinion, another big surge right now. And, maybe, just maybe, we're going to see some really crazy movement happening over the next little while. So we've got CC at 24.35 right now. Again, by the way, this is looking like some of these other ones where it's just kind of at the bottom of that range. And now it's just a matter of breaking up into the top of the range. And, that would be a great move. It's a 2X from where it is. But then, if you can get that up into the 500,000 market cap or something like that, then maybe you start to attract a few more people, a few more eyes. And the next thing you know, boom, you're at 1 million market cap. Boom, you get an opportunity to continue on and you can get to 5 or 10 million market cap. And again, I think a big win for the team is going to be at that 5 or 10 million market cap. 10 million market cap is, by the way, is going to be a penny up here. Right there. So that's the area right now of a 10 million market cap. So there is a long, long way to go, about a 50x from where we are right now to get to that level. And it could happen. It could happen at any given moment. You never know when these things are going to absolutely break out. So we'll see what goes on. So buy yourself some CC coin and don't turn the frogs gay. You know what I mean? All right, so we've got sell signals on Ethereum. Circle files for an IPO after denying the Ripple acquisition rumors. So USDC stablecoin issuer Circle has filed an IPO to list CRCL on the New York Stock Exchange. So Circle Internet, the issuer of the USDC stablecoin, announced plans to seek a valuation of up to $5.65 billion through its IPO. The company aims to sell approximately 9.6 million shares, while existing shareholders intend to offload an additional 14.4 million shares. Now, in the event that this is successful and that this launches and that we get the stablecoin legislation that we've been waiting for, if we get that stablecoin legislation, Circle will become one of the top 2 investors in U.S. bond yields. So right now, 10-year bond yields are still sitting at an excessively high level. Anything that Trump's done so far hasn't worked. Anything that the Fed has done so far hasn't worked. All we're sitting here at is, look, this market is telling you don't invest in crypto. Don't invest in stocks. Invest in bond yields because the bond yields are paying 4.4%. And look, you can say what you want about it, but if you have $10 million, just as an example, if you have $10 million, all you have to do is put it into bond yields and you'll make $446,000 per year. That's a crazy number. That's more still than you make off of staking your stable coins with Coinbase, which is at 4.3%. So there's no incentive at this point to do anything about it. Now, when the stablecoin issuers become the borrowers over here, when we actually get some quantitative easing, when we get money starting to trickle into this market and people less inclined to buy bonds, when we get that, then the natural occurrence here is going to be stablecoin issuers buy a bunch of bonds, but we'll also start to see the yields come down. So we're looking, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for bond yields to start reducing, and, just because we haven't seen it yet doesn't mean that we won't. We're just not there yet. So Circle IPO, there you go though. Trump Media has also secured $2.5 billion to expand Bitcoin treasury holding or after they announced 2.5 billion, as Crypto Jeb and all these other people who like to round up say, almost $3 billion going to be put in here into Bitcoin, or whatever the fuck they say. Trump Media and Technology Group Corporation is planning a $2.5 billion private placement offer to expand its Bitcoin treasury. The company agreed to issue approximately $1.5 billion in common stocks and $1 billion in zero coupon convertible senior secured notes to nearly 50 institutional investors. By the way, they're doing what Strategy has been doing, which is accumulating debt in order to buy Bitcoin. A debt bubble doesn't end very well, by the way. These guys are going to have to sell near that top. So according to a press release, Trump Media's private placement offer includes the sale of common stock at $1.5 billion and then $1 billion. The funding is aimed at building one of the largest Bitcoin treasuries held by a public company. Trump Media plans to hold Bitcoin alongside its existing cash and short-term investments, which total $759 million at the end of the first quarter of 2025. By the way, if you guys are paying attention to any of it, that company is a scam. It doesn't earn any money. In the last quarter, Trump Media earned $1 million. Let that sink in. In the last quarter, Trump Media, which is issuing bonds for billions of dollars, had $1 million in revenue. Again, let that sink in. This company doesn't do anything. It's not worth anything. The only thing of value here is the Trump name, and potentially, because it's got these, because it now has 50 potential investors here, institutional investors who are willing to give him money for access, right? And by the way, I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter to me. I'm telling you the truth, but I don't give a shit. That these guys right here are going to create value for the Trump Media company. It's going to be a large Bitcoin holding. That's going to be the only reason that it exists at some point until they come up with something else. You know, World Liberty Finance, there's going to be a lot of different things that will eventually happen. Just right now, $1 million, that's it. So shout out. Trump's going to be a billionaire, an actual billionaire at this point. So yeah. You never know what'll happen. CETUS update real quick. It says it overlooked a flaw in the open source library used by smart contracts, which led to that $220 million exploit. The attack targeted CETUS's concentrated liquidity market maker pools using the smart contract. It involved manipulating pool prices using a flash swap, exploiting an overflow check error to inject artificially large liquidity value with a minimal amount of tokens, and then repeatedly remove liquidity to siphon assets, according to a full incident report. The vulnerability stemmed from a misapplied integer overflow safeguard in the Intermate library, particularly in the check SHLW method, which incorrectly validated inputs against a 256-bit limit instead of a 192-bit limit, allowing for unchecked liquidity injections, the team explains. It is necessary to clarify that recently some people on social media wrongly believe that the exploit was caused by an arithmetic error of max U64 checking flagged in the previous audit report, which misled many people who did not know the fact. We hereby declare that this issue has nothing to do with the recent exploit. So, Zach XBT and all those bullshitters were wrong about what actually happened, and they gave you the breakdown of exactly how it happened. Now, has it been fixed? Yes. Is that good? Yes. Will it revive? Will it bring SWE back from the, will it do anything? I don't know. I don't know. So we shall see what happens there. Also, let's break down a few more, and then we'll get into meme coins and we'll get out of here. All right. So again, nothing special happening with Devi. I have no, I don't know what to tell you about that. Ethereum, again, mixed signals over here. Solana, again, mixed signals over here. It's doing the same thing, but again, I think that surge is going to happen. It has not hit that third run on the 200 MA. And by the way, when you look at this one, it's bullish that 200 is starting to bend the right way. The 50 has moved entirely the right way. So, I think that ultimately we're going to see a big run from Solana as well. Ondo also, again, bullish in every different way. So I expect to see Ondo pumping up to 120 right now. Accumulating Ondo right now at this point, the way that it seems to be running, I think is going to be I think this will be a good win. So SWI is up 4.5% on the day. But, again, let's zoom out and let's look at like, where are we actually? We're at that 0.45. Remember I told you that 0.45 number comes into play and it was important. Well, guess what? Wicked right off of it. So that's the average pullback, by the way. That's the average pullback on Bitcoin. So we're experiencing this resistance here at 364. Right now we're on it. So let's remove that. And let's hope that we just opened the floodgates and we'll start to see a rally, and that rally goes back up into that $4 range. Now, what I did was, because we are where we are, I said a take profit on this one at $4.20 for SWI. And let me show you that one. I think we got an open order. We got a trigger here. Our SWI is set for 430. So we got $4.30. By the way, I went down to my 420. I went to the 420 stuff. I set my XRP at 420. I set OM at 420. I set Ethereum at 4,200. I couldn't figure out anything for Solana and Ondo. So, you can't win all the time. I mean, I guess you can get high all the time, but you can't win all the time. So we'll see what happens right here. So there we go. We'll see what happens there. So that's it. That's the show. I got to get going. So it's not financial advice. I'm always right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And we got some content coming out today. Have a great day. And we'll talk to you again very, very